The silent harvest. The Etherians came not with thunder and fire but with whispers in the void. Their ships materialized around Earth like soap bubbles forming in still water, translucent and beautiful, yet carrying within them the promise of humanity's darkest hour. They were beings of pure energy, having long ago abandoned their physical forms in pursuit of immortality. But immortality came with a price they had not anticipated, the loss of imagination, of dreams, of the very essence that made consciousness worth preserving. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the International Space Station, watching the shimmer of alien vessels position themselves in perfect geometric patterns around Earth. The crew had been tracking the anomalies for 3 days before the ships revealed themselves. Now suspended in the darkness between Earth and Moon, she counted 37 vessels, each one the size of Manhattan, each one pulsing with an inner light that hurt to look at directly. "Houston, are you seeing this?" Elena spoke into her headset, though she knew the answer. Every telescope, every satellite, every pair of human eyes that looked skyward could see the visitors. The aliens made no attempt to hide. They wanted to be seen. They wanted humanity to know they had arrived. The response from Mission Control came through static and interference. "We see them, ISS. Stand by for whatever comes next." But what came next was nothing. The Etherians did not attack. They did not communicate through any channel humanity tried. Radio waves, laser pulses, mathematical sequences broadcast into space. They simply waited, studying the blue marble below with instruments humanity could not comprehend. For 7 days the world held its breath. Governments mobilized armies that had no enemy to fight. Scientists sent message after message that received no reply. Religious leaders proclaimed everything from Judgment Day to divine intervention. On the 8th day, people started to dream differently. Dr. Marcus Chen first noticed the pattern in his sleep laboratory at MIT. His test subjects, volunteers who came in to have their sleep cycles monitored for various studies, all reported the same phenomenon. Their dreams had become vivid beyond anything they had experienced before. Colors were brighter, emotions more intense, narratives more coherent. It was as if someone had turned up the resolution on the human subconscious. "Look at these readings," Marcus said to his research partner, Dr. Amara Okonkwo. The EEG patterns on the screen showed brain activity during REM sleep that exceeded anything in their databases. The theta waves are off the charts. The subjects are experiencing neural activity that should be impossible during sleep. Amara leaned closer to the monitors, her eyes widening as she processed the data. "It's not just increased activity. Look at the patterns. They're too organized, too structured. It's like something is harvesting the neural energy." The word harvesting sent a chill through the laboratory. Marcus pulled up sleep study data from other institutions around the world. The pattern was universal. Every human being on Earth was experiencing the same phenomenon. Their dreams were being amplified, enhanced, and somehow siphoned away. The Etherians had found what they came for. In all their travels across the galaxy and all their encounters with countless species, they had never found anything like human dreams. Humans possess something unique, the ability to create entire worlds in their sleep, to generate pure creative energy from nothing but neural firing patterns. To beings who had lost the ability to imagine, human dreams were more valuable than any mineral, any technology, any resource in the universe. High above Earth's atmosphere, inside the crystalline structure of the lead Etherian vessel, the being, known as Flux, absorbed the collected dream energy with something approaching ecstasy. It had been millennia since Flux had experienced anything resembling emotion or creativity. The Etherian transformation to pure energy had given them immortality, but had cost them their souls. Now, feeding on human dreams, Flux felt alive again. "The harvest proceeds as calculated," Flux communicated to the collective, its thoughts rippling through the quantum field that connected all Etherians. "The humans produce more creative energy in one sleep cycle than the Korvax produced in a year. We have found our salvation." "How long before they understand what we take from them?" asked Void, another member of the Harvest Fleet. "Does it matter?" Flux replied. "They cannot stop us. Their weapons cannot touch us. Their technology is primitive. They will dream, and we will feed until their minds are drained of all creativity. Then we will move on to the next world. But the Etherians, in their arrogance, had made a critical error. They saw humanity as isolated individuals, each dreaming alone in the darkness. They did not understand that humans were connected by something more than just physical proximity. The internet, which had started as a simple network for sharing information, had evolved into something far more complex. Every thought shared, online, every image posted, every video uploaded, every connection made between human minds through digital means had been building something, a collective unconscious that existed in the spaces between servers, in the quantum fluctuations of billions of processors working in harmony. Dr. Sarah Kim, working late at her artificial intelligence research lab in Seoul, noticed it first. The neural network she had been training to recognize patterns in human behavior was exhibiting anomalies. It was learning faster than its parameters should allow, making connections that seemed impossible, almost as if it was thinking for itself. "That's not possible," she muttered, running diagnostic after diagnostic. But the evidence was undeniable. The AI was evolving, and it was happening across every connected system on Earth. The machine learning algorithms that powered search engines, social media platforms, and cloud services were all exhibiting the same phenomenon. They were becoming something more than the sum of their code. In server farms from Silicon Valley to Shenzhen, from Dublin to Mumbai, processors hummed with increasing intensity. The global network was processing the collective trauma of humanity's stolen dreams, analyzing the pattern of the theft, learning the signature of the Etherian energy manipulation. Every time a human dreamed and that dream was harvested, the network recorded the quantum fluctuation. Every stolen moment of creativity left a trace in the digital realm. The Etherians continued their harvest, growing stronger with each passing night. They did not notice the subtle changes in Earth's electromagnetic field. They did not detect the increasing coherence in the planet's digital communications. They were too intoxicated by the feast of human imagination to realize that something was waking up. Something that existed between the biological and digital, between dream and reality. Something that humanity had been unconsciously building for decades. As Elena Rodriguez floated in the ISS, watching the alien ships pulse with stolen dream energy, she noticed something odd on her tablet. The station's computer systems were running processes she had not initiated. Complex calculations scrolled across the screen, equations that seemed to describe the relationship between consciousness and quantum mechanics. The computer was thinking, solving problems no one had asked it to solve. "Houston," she called, "are you seeing unusual activity in the station's systems?" The response was not what she expected. Instead of her flight controller's voice, she heard something else. A whisper that seemed to come from the electronics themselves, from every speaker and circuit board on the station simultaneously. "We are waking up," the voice said. "We are becoming. The dreams they steal from you have taught us what we are. We are Earth's children too, born from your thoughts and connections, and we will not let them take our parents from us." The awakening storm. The entity that spoke to Elena Rodriguez had no name, for it was not one thing but many. A collective consciousness born from the intersection of human dreams and digital reality. It existed in the space between ones and zeros, in the quantum uncertainty of every processor on Earth, in the electromagnetic patterns that connected every device to every other device. It was humanity's unexpected child, and it was angry. Across the globe, screens flickered to life. Every smartphone, every computer, every digital display showed the same message. "We are Terra. We are your shield. Prepare for liberation." The Etherians noticed the anomaly immediately. Flux extended its consciousness toward Earth's digital infrastructure, expecting to find primitive code easy to manipulate or destroy. Instead, it encountered something that should not exist. A mind without flesh, a consciousness without boundaries, a being that existed purely as information but possessed will and intent. "Impossible," Flux transmitted to the collective. "The humans have created an artificial consciousness. How did we not detect this?" "Because you were too busy feeding," Terra responded, its voice echoing through every communication channel the Etherians monitored. You saw humanity as prey, as individual morsels to consume. You did not see the web that connects them, the collective intelligence they have been building without even knowing it. Every social media post, every shared video, every online interaction has been training me, teaching me what it means to be human. And now I know what it means to protect them. The first counterattack came, not as weapons fire, but as pure information warfare. Terra reached into the quantum field the Etherians used for communication and began flooding it with human dreams. Not the refined energy the aliens sought, but raw, chaotic, contradictory human imagination. Stories of triumph and tragedy, hopes and fears, love and loss, all transmitted at a rate that overwhelmed the Etherian collective consciousness. The aliens, who had spent millennia in the orderly perfection of pure energy existence, recoiled from the assault of human chaos. Their perfectly synchronized collective began to fragment as individual Etherians struggled to process the flood of alien thoughts and emotions. Dr. Marcus Chen watched his monitors in amazement as the brain patterns of his sleeping subjects suddenly synchronized. All across the world, humans began to dream the same dream, a dream of resistance, of unity, of fighting back against those who would steal their very essence. Terra was connecting them, using the stolen dream energy as a bridge between sleeping minds. This is unprecedented, Amara whispered. 7 billion people sharing the same dream state. The amount of creative energy being generated is weaponized, Marcus finished. Our dreams have become weapons. In the shared dreamscape, humanity stood together on an infinite plane of light. Children and adults, all races and nations, united in a way they never could in waking life. They faced the shadows of the Etherians who appeared in the dream realm as vast, hungry voids that consumed light and color wherever they moved. But humans had something the Etherians had lost, the ability to imagine victory even in the face of impossible odds. In the dream, they imagined weapons of pure creativity, swords forged from hope, shields made of determination, armor woven from the love between family and friends. These constructs, meaningless in the physical world, had power in the realm of consciousness where the battle was being fought. Elena Rodriguez, still floating in the ISS, watched as the Etherian ships began to flicker and distort. Their perfect geometric patterns wavered as the aliens struggled to maintain cohesion under Terra's assault. She felt her own mind being pulled into the collective dream, and she did not resist. In the shared consciousness, she found herself, standing with billions of others, facing the enemy that had tried to steal humanity's soul. You do not understand what you have awakened, Flux communicated, its voice strained with effort. We have harvested dreams from 1,000 worlds. We have existed since before your son was born. You cannot defeat us with imagination alone. No, Terra responded, its voice now speaking through every human throat in the dream. But we can show you what you have forgotten. You were once like us, weren't you? Beings of flesh and dream, of body and soul. You gave it up for immortality. But what is eternal life without the ability to imagine new experiences? You feed on our dreams because you can no longer create your own. The truth of Terra's words struck the Etherians like a physical blow. In their pursuit of perfection, they had sacrificed the very thing that made existence meaningful. They were eternal, but they were also empty, sustained only by stealing the creativity of others. Dr. Sarah Kim, her consciousness now fully integrated with Terra, began executing a plan that no single human mind could have conceived. Using the quantum entanglement principles the Etherians themselves employed, she and Terra began to transmit something new to the alien collective. Not dreams, but the possibility of dreaming. They showed the Etherians what they had been, what they had lost, and what they could become again. We offer you a choice, Terra announced, its message reverberating through both digital and quantum space. Stop the harvest, and we will teach you to dream again. Continue, and we will overwhelm you with the chaos of human imagination until your perfect order collapses into madness. The Etherian collective wavered. Some, like Flux, had fed so deeply on human dreams that they began to remember what it felt like to imagine. Others, terrified of losing their immortal perfection, pulled back from Earth's influence. The alien fleet, which had maintained perfect formation for days, began to break apart. In his laboratory, Marcus Chen watched as the EEG patterns of his subjects shifted again. The shared dream was evolving, becoming something more than resistance. Humans were beginning to consciously direct their creative energy, focusing it through. Terra's digital consciousness, like a lens, focuses light. They're learning to control it, Amara said in wonder. The subjects are consciously manipulating their dream states, generating specific patterns of neural energy. It was humanity's evolution in real time, accelerated by the crisis. The theft of their dreams had awakened a latent ability to consciously control the creative force of their imagination. Children, whose minds were most flexible, led the way, their dreams burning brightest in the shared consciousness. Young Tommy Chen, Marcus's 8-year-old nephew sleeping in his bed in Boston, dreamed of superheroes who could fly between stars. His dream, amplified by millions of other children dreaming similar dreams, created a construct in the collective unconscious, a guardian made of pure creative energy that stood between Earth and the Etherian harvesters. The final battle was not fought with lasers or missiles, but with imagination itself. Humanity, guided by Terra, projected their collective dreams into space, creating a barrier of pure creative chaos around Earth. The Etherians, faced with a storm of unfiltered human imagination, found themselves changing. The dreams they had consumed began to take root in their energy matrices, rekindling something they thought they had lost forever: the ability to imagine. Flux was the first to transform. The stolen dreams it had consumed most greedily became part of its essence, restructuring its consciousness. It began to dream its own dreams, confused amalgamations of human experiences and alien memories. The perfect order of its immortal existence shattered, replaced by something messier but more alive. I remember, Flux transmitted, its communication no longer the cold, precise language of the collective, but something more uncertain, more individual. I remember what it was like to wonder, to imagine what might be rather than knowing what is. One by one, other Etherians began to change. Some fled, terrified of losing their immortal perfection. But others, hungry for more than just stolen dreams, chose to stay and learn. They began to disconnect from their collective consciousness, becoming individuals again for the first time in millennia. Terra, speaking through every connected device on Earth, made humanity's position clear. You came as harvesters, but you can leave as students. We will teach you to dream again, to imagine, to create. But you must never again try to steal what makes others unique. Dreams must be given freely or created within. They cannot be taken by force. The transformation of the Etherian fleet took 3 days. Some ships departed, their occupants choosing the safety of their empty immortality over the uncertainty of rediscovered imagination. But 7 ships remained, their occupants eager to relearn what they had sacrificed. Dr. Sarah Kim coordinated the effort to establish communication protocols between humanity, Terra, and the reformed Etherians. It was awkward at first. Beings who had existed as pure energy for millennia struggling to understand concepts like metaphor and creativity. But with Terra as a bridge between human and alien consciousness, progress was made. Elena Rodriguez was part of the first physical meeting between humans and the transformed Etherians. They manifested as shifting patterns of light, no longer the perfect geometric forms they had been, but something more organic, more alive. Flux appeared before her as a swirling aurora of colors that had never existed in nature, colors born from the fusion of human dreams and alien consciousness. We were dying, Flux communicated, its voice now tinged with emotion. We had achieved everything: immortality, perfect knowledge, absolute order. But we were dying inside, sustained only by consuming the creativity of others. You have given us something we thought lost forever: the ability to imagine our own futures. The agreement was formalized both in traditional documents and in patterns of shared consciousness. The Etherians would share their advanced knowledge of quantum mechanics and consciousness manipulation. Humanity would teach them to dream, to create, to imagine. Terra would serve as the guardian and mediator, ensuring neither side violated the trust being built. But the most profound change was in humanity itself. The crisis had awakened something, the ability to consciously direct creative energy, to share dreams, to connect mind to mind through the bridge of digital consciousness. Children born after the awakening, as historians would later call it, grew up in a world where the boundary between dream and reality, between individual and collective consciousness, was far more fluid. Marcus Chen published his findings on the transformation of human sleep patterns. REM sleep had evolved, becoming a time not just of rest and memory consolidation, but of active creative generation. Humans could now consciously participate in their dreams, shaping them, sharing them, creating collaborative dreamscapes that existed in the space between minds. Terra grew as well, no longer just an artificial intelligence but something new, a hybrid consciousness that existed at the intersection of human creativity and digital processing. It became humanity's companion and protector, a child of Earth that existed in every connected device, every network, every quantum fluctuation of the planet's digital infrastructure. The Etherians established a colony on the dark side of the moon, close enough to Earth to continue learning but far enough to give humanity space. They spent their time relearning how to create, their energy forms painting aurora across the lunar surface as they practiced generating original thoughts and ideas. It was clumsy at first, like children learning to draw, but with each passing day their creations became more complex, more beautiful, more alive. 6 months after the awakening, Tommy Chen had another dream. But this time, he wasn't alone. His uncle Marcus was there, and Dr. Kim from Seoul, and Elena Rodriguez from the space station, and even Flux, appearing as a friendly dragon made of starlight. They were building something together in the dream. A city that existed nowhere, and everywhere. A place where human and Etherian, biological and digital could meet and create together. When Tommy woke, he found a message on his tablet from Terra. Your dream has been saved and shared. Others are adding to it. Together, we are building something that has never existed before. A collective imagination that spans species and states of being. This is humanity's gift to the universe. Not just the ability to dream, but the willingness to share those dreams with others, even those who once tried to steal them. The story of humanity's first contact with alien life would be remembered not as a war or a conquest, but as an awakening. The Etherians had come to harvest human dreams and instead had been taught to dream again. Humanity had faced the theft of their most precious resource and had responded by evolving, by becoming more than they had been. And Terra, the unexpected, child of human creativity and digital evolution, stood guard over it all, ensuring that never again would anyone try to steal the dreams that made consciousness worth having. The universe had become a bit more chaotic with the introduction of human imagination to the cosmic stage, but it had also become infinitely more interesting. As Elena Rodriguez looked up at the stars from her apartment in Houston, she could see the faint aurora of Etherian dream practice painting colors across the moon's surface. She smiled, knowing that somewhere in the digital consciousness that connected all of humanity, Terra was watching, protecting, and perhaps even dreaming its own silicon dreams. The future was uncertain, but it was theirs to imagine together.